Shabbat Shalom. What a wonderful morning to celebrate the two of you and the chassan and kala, the bride and groom as well. And Parshat Noah, it is a great one. The ark and animals and a rainbow. I mean, we really got it all going on. You know, in the Torah, the rainbow was the symbol of a promise by God. I have set my bow in the clouds, and it shall serve as a sign of the covenant before me and the earth. Of course, it was a promise that the earth wouldn't be destroyed. Chizkuni, a 13th century commentator, says there could be no doubt that the phenomena of the rainbow as a symbol of the new relationship between man and God was meant to reassure people that there would not again be a deluge, a flood of the earth. That it was a sign, a promise. Well, not a promise of never destroying the earth, but at least not in that way would it happen again. The wrongs that humanity were doing, they were complete, they were extensive, meaning that the rabbis' only argument that they had about this section was that if the wrongs on earth extended also to animals, or this was just something that people were doing to each other. The list of wrongs are extensive, the rabbis share. Violence and examples of violence and hate and speech and so many more things the people in Noah's time were doing to each other. And Noah was the most righteous amongst them in his time. God, in God's own seeming infancy, needed to do a reset and thus the flood. The symbol of the rainbow has endured over time. Today, one of its meanings is peace and togetherness, unity and diversity. As the separate colors blend into each other, each color maintains its own distinctive natures, but they still continue together. And thus it's a symbol of peace, maybe a model of how we might live with each other. The Torah tells us that the rainbow is a sign of the covenant not to flood the earth again. But what if these human actions remain? What if we continue to do bad things again? Not in Noah's time, right? But what if we have learned or relearned what the people of his time acted like? What if how we treat each other, treat the earth, treat animals, again regresses? Well, we know that God has promised not to destroy us with a flood, but I imagine there are many other tools at God's disposal if I believed in a God who interceded in the world like that. The reason I raise this question is because hate is pervasive again. Noah reminds us that this is not unique to our time. After all, pre-flood days, these were the things that happened in his world too. Hopefully we do not warrant the same consequences, though. Hate is pervasive in the political spheres, amongst people across social media platforms, where it is a daily headline of whose account was suspended or banned. This week, I was part of a rabbinic group organized by the Jewish Community Relations Council, who met with MCPS's superintendent, Dr. Monifa McKnight. And the issue that we were raising to make sure it was high on the school board's agenda was anti-Semitism and hate incidents in our schools here locally. And of course, the recent headlines has been inundated with news of Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, for his anti-Semitic and hate-filled pronouncements and the consequences as corporate sponsors and partners backed away from him. Adidas and Gap and TJ Maxx and Skechers and high-end fashion houses and mainstream music industry. You read the same news sources as I do, so I don't need to go into more depth. And if you don't know anything about what I'm talking about, God bless you. Stay off the internet. But Kanye was never my musical taste, really. But why does this matter to me? He has a big megaphone in which he has been spouting hate and conspiracies. Why has this huge backlash come against a black man, though, when plenty of influential white people have expressed similar things? I'm interested in that. I'm actually having lunch on Monday with a minister friend who is a community organizer in the African American community to learn his perspective. And to be clear, he doesn't defend the hate speech, but does question why others have not been treated the same way as Kanye West. So ask me next week about that conversation. I'm very interested in learning. But Kanye's platform to spread hate is enormous. His Twitter account has 31.6 million followers. His Instagram account, there may be some overlap between those two, but his Instagram account has 18.4 million followers, and there are only 14.8 million Jews in the entire world. So this one person reaches more people with a single post than all of the Jews in the entire world. So when he says he is going to DEFCON 3 on the Jews, it is significant. When he encourages hate in so many ways, it is worth taking note. But this cannot be just about a rapper, entrepreneur, music titan, fashion designer. Kanye will be fine. I am sure he has hundreds of millions of dollars tucked away someplace. After all, we never heard Mel Gibson crying poverty. We must make sure this moment catapults us towards confronting other voices of hate in the political sphere and in our own communities. To be clear, some candidates who are running for office in our local and state elections cozy up to people who do not like us. Hate groups have moved from the shadows to the center of conversations and power. Maimonides in his Mishnah Torah encourages us to hold people accountable for their actions and speech. He says, admonishing a person will lead to tshuva, helping them to correct their ways. When a person is informed about his wrong actions and there are consequences because of them, then Maimonides says that person will repent. It does not always work. But we need to stand up against hate speech, whether it is from celebrities or politicians or jokes at the office. And why does it matter? Because hate speech leads to action. Allowing hate speech to linger unchallenged creates a permissive environment where it seems to be accepted and maybe even a correct way of thinking. Unchallenged speech is not polite. It is permitting hate to linger. And there are consequences. This is the 4th anniversary of the Tree of Life attack in Pittsburgh, which killed 11 people praying Shabbat morning, injuring 2. I want to say their names to honor them and to remind us that permitting hate has consequences. Murdered at the Tree of Life Synagogue were Joyce Feinberg, Richard Gottfried, Rose Mallinger, Jerry Rabinowitz, Cecil Rosenthal, David Rosenthal, Bernice Simon, Sylvan Simon, Daniel Stein, Melvin Wax, and Irvin Younger. Hate speech has consequences in political arenas too. Just yesterday, Paul Pelosi, husband of Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi, was attacked and injured in their home. And the assailant yelled, "Where is Nancy?" as he tried to tie him up to do further damage or whatever his motive was. If we allow hate speech to go unchallenged, to linger, to spread across social media platforms and office places and schoolrooms and cable television shows, hate will grow. The grocery store shooting in Buffalo last May targeted black people, and the list is long of mass shootings targeting Asian Americans and African Americans and Jews and other groups as well. When hate lingers, it spreads and grows and kills. If we shine a light on hate, though, it will be pushed back to the darkest corners of society where it belongs. Unfortunately, none of this is new information, though. The specifics of who and what change, but the fundamentals persist and continue to move in the wrong way. It is easy to throw up our hands and say, I can't control Kanye West, or stop a mass shooting, or decide who's banned from Twitter. Can I? For me, I've decided to embrace a tradition that is based in Hanukkah, but we should bring it to now. I know you're saying, Rabbi, you haven't even taken down your sukkah yet. Why are you talking about Hanukkah?
That's the Christmas.
But it is true. So if you want to come over, the sukkah's still up. But at Hanukkah, there's a tradition of Pirsumei Nisa, that it means publicizing the miracle. It is a practice of placing your menorah in the window so others can be reminded of the miracle of oil. It is a beautiful practice, and so start thinking about where you're going to put your Chanukiah this year. But it's also an act of Jewish pride. It's an act of sharing with everyone in your community that you are Jewish and proud, that you will express yourself and draw attention through these lights of Jewish pride. And after all, much of the story of Hanukkah was the Maccabees pushing against assimilation and being proud of their religion and culture. For us to be proud of who we are, spreading and testifying and witnessing the miracle is exactly what we need to do now. A response to hate, we should not retreat. This is a moment for us to share our pride in being Jewish. This is our time to lean into being Jewish by recommitting to lighting Shabbos candles, or coming to services on Shabbat or weekdays, to express your support for the community, to bring your Judaism into the community with you wherever you are. Pirsumei Nisa, sharing the miracle of being Jewish, sharing the pride of being Jewish, that may be my response to Kanye and the tree of life and to hate. We should not retreat into polite pockets of society or social bubbles. This is a moment for being proud of who we are, proud of being part of the Jewish people. So let's not wait until Hanukkah to do that. God promised us the world would not be destroyed by flood again. That is the promise of the rainbow. But it's up to each of us to make sure each color of the rainbow, all of its diversity, has a place to shine. And that means putting the darkness of hate back into its cave. Shabbat Shalom.
Wow, you got applause for that one.